And is that okay? Is Lottie here? Yeah. Is that okay? Because then we could go straight on to the item of business so you can hear the council deal with that item of business. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll just remind you that we're being live streamed, so if you could speak clearly for the, and I think there should be a button in front of you just to switch the microphone on.
Right, that one there?
Yep. Is that live?
5 minutes, should be 10.
Sorry. Right.
Is it?
We did say 5.
Yeah, we had 5. All of them yesterday were 5 minutes, so yeah.
Right, good morning, and thank you for allowing me to speak with you. I'm Bruce White. I live in the south of Christchurch and have no private or commercial interest in the area of the Dudley Creek catchment. I'll speak briefly. I've been a CA or a chartered accountant for about 40 years. My work life has always been in the private sector in various management and consultancy roles. In early May, a few days after the last of the floods, I sent to the council an alternative solution to resolve the flooding. And I won't go into that because time is rather limited, but happy to answer questions, of course. What has unfolded since is a story that really is very important, more so than the Dudley Creek project. It's a story that I believe represents a systemic failure in the way the council conducts its business. And I submit that the council should not be adopting the recommendations for the Dudley Creek preferred option. I suggest that the whole planning and engagement process is faulty and breaches the Local Government Act, the Official Information Act and council policy. In proposing the alternative solution, I expected a level of professional engagement. I thought I'd get the many thanks, Bruce, we hadn't thought of that option, can we talk, etc., etc., and then a bit of a discussion. And that's not what I got at all. In the private sector, where I come from, there is a greater real accountability driven by the need to earn income and pay the costs. There's a real linkage between spending and income, and it seems to be different in the public sector. 3 things have really shocked me about this matter. That's the lack of willingness to engage, the lack of robustness in the process, both in concept and analysis, and in terms of the Official Information Act, a cavalier approach. I believe we now need an independent review of the Dudley Creek project, and one that doesn't involve the current council staff or the consultant, Jacobs. I'll comment on the role of Jacobs in the whole matter. Jacobs is an international consultancy listed on the New York Stock Exchange. They don't have any New Zealand ownership. In July, I had to quote the Jacobs Code of Conduct in order to extract, if you like, an unsigned, undated report. Very disturbing. I looked at Jacobs' core values. Here they are here, downloaded off the internet. 3 values, we're relationship based. Second value, growth is important. Profitable growth is what our stakeholders demand. And third value, people are our greatest asset. So that's standard corporate stuff. But what do those values mean? What happens when those values are in conflict, and particularly in conflict with each other? What happens when the pressure to produce fees and profits conflicts with the needs of the client, in this case the residents in Dudley Creek and the residents of Christchurch? What happens? Yesterday I received a link to the Jacobs December report produced in a very short time. I've got 3 words for that report: skewed, vague, ambiguous. Skewed because it's hopelessly biased in favour of what they call option A. Vague Not very meaningful, no meaningful analysis. Ambiguous. Well, I would say there's what's called a double entendre. This is not a high-level report, as in high quality. It's actually a low-quality report. The only high-level aspect about this report is escalating costs and consulting fees. Let me turn to cost estimates. This project started off at the order of 15 to 18 million. In March, the report said 44 to 74 million. Now, where are we at? 80 million perhaps? 48 million plus 30% plus whatever has been spent to date? I don't know what that is, but escalating costs. So reports, this is a report that just doesn't stand scrutiny. In my submission, and if I won't be very long, in my submission I made 5 key points. The failure to comply with the requirements of the Local Government Act, the failure to comply with the Official Information Act or LGOIMA, issues of engagement, peer review, but I do have 1/6 point that I wasn't aware of at the time, and that is this report here, which I've only been made aware of. It's the Council's policy on significance and engagement that you adopted 2 weeks ago. And if I look at it, it says decision-making and engagement processes are transparent. And then it says engagement is proactive, inclusive, accessible, a two-way dialogue. Well, that's not my experience. And when I turn further over, the IAP2 spectrum of public participation, what does that say? Inform, consult, involve, collaborate, empower. That's not what has happened here. If the city is to be rebuilt properly, the council needs to ensure all parts of the planning and engagement process are properly carried out. The lack of genuine dialogue does not help. So I urge the council to reject the current remediation scheme. And what I hope is that you will quickly engage with the public and get on with doing the job properly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all the time that we've allowed, but I'm very aware that you've put considerable effort into submitting on this, and I'm very, very grateful, and I know that when we come to consider that paper, we'll be taking all of that into account. So thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And